You can become a developer and land your first developer job in just 3 months. I know this because I helped my students Tony and Konstantin achieve it. Now, in this video, I'm sharing with you my entire process, the fastest way to learn coding and actually get a job. Now, I know there will be a bunch of people in the comments who say this is impossible, so I want you to stay until the end, where I'm gonna break down this exact process and I'm gonna show you exactly the fact that it's gonna take you literally 3 months to do it. My name is Cristian Florea and I'm a self-taught developer. I used to be a barista and I taught myself programming, and I have been helping people learn code and get jobs since 2019. I've done it in the easy times and I've done it in the hard times like last year and this year as well. In this video, I'm gonna give you my game plan, everything I've learned over the past 5 years since I've been helping people learn code. None of this useless bullshit that all the influencers are regurgitating over and over and over. Things that helped me get hired in 2016 are not working anymore right now in 2025. The reason why I started coding was because I wanted to have a skill set that would allow me to do anything I want wherever I want. Now, I used to be a barista, so if you want to be a barista, you have to be in a coffee shop 8 hours a day at least. That's too much. I want to be able to work from home, work from a beach, go in Thailand, go in Bali, go in Dubai, go in Spain, go in Italy, go in any country I want and still be able to do my work. The second reason why I chose coding was because of the amount of opportunities I will get from learning this skill. When you learn how to code, you are literally learning one of the toughest skills that are out there. Because of that, you'll be able to learn any other skills. You need to learn how to learn. This is literally the most important skill that coding will actually help you get, okay? I want to address two big problems, two mistakes that beginners are making nowadays. The first one is that beginners are trying to learn too many languages. Maybe you can relate to this, right? Maybe you started with Python and you got to a certain level with Python and you hit a plateau and you cannot break that plateau. And for whatever reason, as you are searching for solutions, as you are searching for answers for your problem, you find an influencer that recommends you to learn JavaScript, for example. Then you start learning JavaScript and then, after a couple of weeks, you reach the same plateau. And then you find another influencer that tells you, hey, you shouldn't learn JavaScript, you should learn Java because Java is good because of this reason and whatever, right? And you end up learning Java and then you hit again a plateau. You are trying to skip the hard part of learning a programming language. You can learn a couple of phrases in Spanish, but that doesn't make you a Spanish speaker. You can learn a couple of phrases in Russian. That doesn't make you a Russian speaker. So what makes you a Japanese speaker, for example, is learning, the syntax, the grammar, having a wide vocabulary of words, like really understanding how to express yourself when you speak with friends, how to express yourself when you speak with authorities, how to express yourself when you speak with your girlfriend's parents, and so on and so forth. So for every single scenario, you have a different set of words and ways of expressing yourself. And you can only gain that by practicing and by practicing and by practicing and by sticking with one language for a very long period of time. Coding is exactly the same. So it's gonna take you years and years and years and years to really understand one language. And if you break that process after a couple of months because the language is too tough, because you don't know how to use it, because you do not have the right system, guess what? This thing is gonna happen again with another programming language. So stop right now, decide what language you wanna learn and stick with that. The second mistake that I see people are making when they wanna learn to code to get a job is that they're using ChatGPT. So I know a bunch of influencers are promoting ChatGPT as this amazing tool that will help you learn code fast. It's your personal tutor at your fingertips. And it sounds super sexy, right? There's nothing better than that. You have a problem, you ask the bot to give you the answer. Now, I have a bunch of people that come through my mentorship program and they have been using ChatGPT for a very long period of time. In fact, their entire career is based on ChatGPT. And when I ask them to do basic things, they cannot do it, right? Because ChatGPT is removing the most important part of the learning process, which is pain. If you want to learn something, you have to go through pain. Learning is painful. And if you can remove the pain by typing a couple of words and pressing a button on your mouse, then you will never be able to understand core concepts, core fundamentals, and you'll have a very weak foundation. The moment when you have a problem that you don't know how to define because you don't have the right foundations, you will fail. you'll be caught in the interview by people who are very well prepared, that know how to code because they've been doing this for years before ChatGPT was even a thing. The language that you choose is going to determine what you'll end up being able to do with it in the future, right? So if you are interested in data science, maybe you should look into Python. If you want to build mobile applications, maybe you should look into Swift. If you want to build web applications, you should look into JavaScript. The end goal, the type of application or the type of programming you want to go into will dictate what kind of language you should learn. I prefer JavaScript because it's the most versatile. I can build web applications, I can build mobile applications, I can build servers, and in my opinion, JavaScript is giving you more opportunities. You can get a job, you can freelance, you can start your own business, you create your own SaaS. Feel free to do your own research. Feel free to figure out which language or which field of programming you want to get into and do that. Now, another misconception that I see with beginners is that they think that if they learn Python, they can get into AI. I don't want to break your heart, but learning AI is not about Python. There are so many other things that get into AI. Programming language is pretty much the last thing that you need to worry about, okay? So if you're a beginner and you want to look into AI, well, that's another ball game altogether. Can I recommend you to not get into it? Of course not. Feel free to look into it. But do not think that if you learn Python, you'll become an AI developer. No, you'll just be a backend developer, which is fine. It's just I don't want you to be confused, okay? So if your goal is to land a developer job as fast as possible and start earning $80,000 to $120,000 per year, but you're unsure how to get started, then I can 100% help. So click the link in the description and book a call either with me or someone from my team, where we'll show you how our system works. Let's look into some effective learning strategies, because if you want to become a developer and if you want to learn how to code, the most important part is to know how to learn. A bunch of people, just like you, come from, you have a background where you haven't been learning much in the past, 10, 20 years. Maybe you haven't touched a book since you finished high school. Maybe, you are the type of person who doesn't know how to achieve goals, and that's okay. But you need to understand where you are coming from. If you do not know how to learn, no matter how much time you spend in front of your computer, you will not be able to understand the information and you'll just waste your time. One of the most effective strategies when it comes to learning something is to do something called deliberate practice. Whenever you have a new concept that explains a very basic part of a programming language or a library or whatever, most people just look at the video and they go to the next one. They think they understood it, right? That's the worst thing that you can do. The second worst thing that you can do is to just look at the video, practice it once, and then go to the next video. Someone explains to you how variables work, and they show you two examples of how a variable is created. You have the var keyword, you have the name of the variable, then you have the equal sign, and then you have the value that is stored in the variable. Typically, that's how it goes. Now, in my program, I tell people write 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 variables. How important repetition is. Whenever you feel like you don't understand something, you have to repeat that thing over and over and over and over and over until you really, really understand it. I want you to also pair this with being extremely present when you do the thing, to really soak in every single letter that you are, pressing on your keyboard as you are trying to understand this concept, because you will spend so much time not going anywhere if you're not present. Now, another thing that's going to help you learn really fast is to be curious. You don't need to be talented to become a programmer. You don't need to be talented to become anything, right? In my opinion. But what you need is interest. You look at coding and you fucking hate it, right? And you just do it because you have to do it. Unfortunately, you will not make it. You need to figure out, do you really like this? If you really like it, then you'll be curious and learning is gonna be very smooth. That's why you see some people with the same background as you, pretty much like carbon copies of you. And some can do it really fast because they are just so passionate about it. They just like it. They are not talented. Trust me, I don't want to give names, but I have students of mine that, sometimes I was wondering like, fuck, these guys are stupid. But even though I was thinking that, they were so passionate about it that they've made it on the other side, and they've made a lot of money with coding just because they were passionate about it. I want to give you an exercise to figure out what are your weaknesses. You know, you're going to the gym, keep working on your chest, right? You have a balloon chest, but your biceps are small, right? That's a weakness, right? You look weird. So if you figure out that, hey, my chest is big, I'm not gonna keep adding more weight to the chest. I'm gonna work on my biceps and make my biceps bigger so I look proportional, so I look handsome, I guess, right? How do you find these weaknesses? The weaknesses that you have are the ones that, you know, are bothering you every single day. Let me give you an example. I had a student a while ago. He was really good at JavaScript, but he was always telling me that he's not good at CSS. He was scared of making websites. Spend 2 days learning every single thing you can about Flexbox, for example, or it can be Grid for you. It doesn't even matter. Whenever you feel like you have a weakness, open the Notes app on your phone, and I want you to write down every single thing that you are insecure about. Every single thing. 1 week in your coding career or 6 years in your coding career. You know what you're not good at. Spend 2 days researching how those things work, and just like that, magically, you just got better. And the reason why you want to address these weaknesses as fast as possible and as early as possible is because they are like the hum of a refrigerator, if you know what I mean, that they don't let you sleep. You won't have a peaceful sleep because you'll keep hearing bzzz. Building a portfolio. Look, we're in 2025 right now. Maybe you'll see this video in 2026. If you have a portfolio right now and you are trying to break into tech, I'm gonna be the first person to say that you will fail. People do not want juniors in any industry, not just coding. People don't want juniors. People don't want people that have no experience. It's actually kind of lame, you know. I'm pretty sure you work a job. Let's say you're a barista like me. Do you want to train someone to be a barista with you, to work with you on Sunday? Or do you want someone that has been a barista for the past 5 years to come and work with you on Sunday? You want on your team the best person possible. So when you create a portfolio, what you are signaling is, hey, I do not have experience, please don't hire me. Literally every single influencer tells you to build a portfolio. Only I'm the crazy guy who tells you don't build a portfolio, but I'm the guy who actually gets people hired. A portfolio is a website that has some projects inside, right? So really what matters most is the projects that you have inside that website. We need a project. Now, the problem with most people is that they put learning projects in their portfolio. So what is a learning project? The best way to learn coding is by practicing coding. You learn a concept, you practice it, you put it into an application. And you have small applications, you have micro applications, tiny applications, mini applications, big applications. But there is a strict separation between learning applications and real world applications. Now, most people put their learning applications, their best ones, the last 2 or 3, and they say, hey, this is me, and these are my applications. They stop coding for the next 2-3 years as they're trying to get a job. They lose all their skills. Then they go on Reddit and say they cannot get a job, right? This is what happens a lot of the times, and I have made many videos on this topic and I've reviewed portfolios. Scrap them, you use them to learn, and now I want you to solve a real world problem. I cannot give you exactly the project to build, and I'll tell you why. Because if I tell you, build these exact projects with these features and whatnot that looks like this, if I do this, everyone is gonna build the same project. And then the whole point of you being creative and using coding as a problem-solving tool is gonna disappear. Real-world problem is a problem that, you know, takes time from someone, takes money from someone, or could potentially stop someone from making money. For example, you could develop an app that looks at your calendar and is connected to ChatGPT and is connected to your, I don't know, browser, and sees how you spend most amount of your time, and then it tells you like, hey, between this time and this time you should be doing this, just giving you some ideas, right? If you help someone save money, save time, or make money, you will be on the right track. Now, you can take inspiration from applications that are already out there, right? You can go to product hunt, then you can get some inspiration from products that are out there. I want you to be a bit of a scientist, okay? I want you to start using your brain. Now let's talk about getting a job. Getting a job is actually very straightforward, but a lot of people like to overcomplicate it. The thing with the highest leverage is what's in your resume. So if you've done whatever I told you in step 1, and if you solved a problem with your coding skills, then you'll talk about how you solved that problem in your resume. And that's it. The problem you solved is impressive enough. If you've done everything right, you'll get a lot of callbacks. So there are 2 ways. The first way is to network, okay? Which means sending connections, messaging people, leaving comments on people's posts and whatnot, right? Being a social butterfly. Then the second option is to use job boards and just click apply. Both of them work. Okay, there are gurus that say networking is the best thing, or there are some others that say job applications are the best thing. The only thing that matters is which one you like most. If you like talking to people and if you are a people person, go with the networking. If you don't like talking to people and you just prefer to click on a button, go and apply on job boards. You set a specific amount of time per day where you religiously do this. When it comes to the interview and what to expect from it, there are a couple of stages. The first one is the recruiter stage. So if you have built the right application and if you constructed your resume the right way, the recruiter should call you. So the recruiters are quite stupid, if I'm being honest. They don't know the difference between Java and JavaScript, TypeScript and JavaScript. You know, they have no idea, and that's okay. They're just there to go through a checklist. And if you fit their criteria, you're gonna go to the next step. An algorithm test, an automated algorithm test, a build me an app test. So they'll ask you to build a to-do app with filters, with whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Then if you're doing well, you're gonna go to another step, which can be a technical interview. It can be build me an app, or they can go through the app you've built, right? And then you can discuss how you've approached it. If you use ChatGPT, you're fucked here if you don't know how to answer this. If they will ask you questions that you don't know how to answer, then you'll have a big problem, my friend. You can have 4 interview rounds, right? Like for example, Daniel, my latest student that got hired, he's been through 4 rounds. I had jobs where I went through 1 interview stage and then 30 minutes later I got offered the job. So it's never, you know, written in stone how these interviews will look like. Now I want to be honest with you. You might and you will get a lot of rejections. I don't want you to take these rejections personally. It's just not a good fit. Like, it's like dating pretty much. I personally like a specific type of girl, right? Let's just assume I like blondes. Now, if you are brunette, no matter how nice you are, I have a preference for blondes, you know? So even though you are ticking all the boxes, you're not ticking that last box that I really like. And unfortunately, I'll have to go with another candidate. It's the same with coding. Maybe you are ticking all the boxes, but you know, you are not a sociable person or whatever. You don't fit the criteria. You need to understand that HR people are trained to make you feel good about it, okay? So keep applying, keep interviewing, even though it feels like you might have a contract coming over. Until the contract is not in front of you and until that contract is not signed, you do not have anything on the table. Keep interviewing, keep generating interviews. Now, how do you prepare for these interviews? There are 3 types of interviews. We have trivia questions. Questions like, tell me the difference between var, let, and const. By the way, every single time I ask this question, nobody knows how to answer it properly. So make sure that if you're a viewer of this channel, you know how to answer this question, okay? Please. So, questions like, what's the difference between var, let, and const? What is a promise? What is the difference between props and state in React? Why did you choose React? What are the main selling points of React? You know, things about the language that you've been learning. So that's why it's important to learn one language, because you get to learn the deep shit of that language. Then we have algorithms. So on Code Wars, you can practice algorithms, and you start at level 8, and when you are level 1, you are a total G, right? But what I recommend you to do is to try to get to level 5. If you attempt getting to level 5, you'll be going through so many algorithms, you'll start to see patterns, and you'll start to get really good at them. Now, I would recommend you to start messing around with algorithms when you are about to start learning, React or whatever library you are choosing. I would recommend you to do an algorithm once a day or once every 2 days. In the beginning, it's going to be pretty difficult to get up to speed, so feel free to look at the solutions or Google a lot. But then after a couple of weeks, you should be able to start solving your own algorithms. Solve easy algorithms. So whenever you can solve 10 easy algorithms in a row, then you can go to the next level of difficulty. Practice algorithms that are based on arrays and strings. These are, gonna be very useful for you when you build your applications, but also when you'll be working a job, you'll be using these algorithms and your life is gonna be way easier. Do you need to become an algorithm expert? Of course not, in my opinion, no. But it's like cardio for weightlifting. You wanna use weightlifting to grow your muscle, but you also need some cardio because you wanna keep your heart in check and you'll get more stamina and that's gonna help you weightlift more, okay? The last type of interview will be build me an app. So build me an app, the only way to prepare for it is by building this project that I talked about, where you'll have a lot of features, a lot of problems. That's how you'll start to get the creativity and the juices flowing, okay? So that's the only way to prepare for that type of interview. So as a conclusion, I know we've been spending some time on this video. Thank you for being here. Focus on one language, don't use ChatGPT, okay? Build projects that are solving real world problems. Apply like a madman. No matter what you are choosing, either job boards or networking, prepare for the interviews. Don't take rejections personally. What I would encourage you to do is to start today. I know a lot of people are scared because of AI, right? This is like the biggest thing that's out there. But if we look at the demographic of people who are trying to learn to code, we're not looking at multi-millionaires. We are looking at everyday people like I used to be, like a barista, like a waiter, restaurant manager. People that have low income skills, okay? This is the reality of things. I don't wanna sugarcoat it. Now, no matter what's gonna happen in the next 5 years, I have no idea what the exact impact of AI is gonna be in the next few years. But I can guarantee you that people that have low income skills, they are not the most hardworking people. They are not the smartest people, right? At this point in time, right? You have low income skills because you didn't spend time learning skills, right? That are gonna pay you money. It's like in the definition. So the worst thing that you can do is to bury your head in the sand just to be replaced sooner rather than later. Like, if you have low income skills, you are in a bad position already. What coding is gonna do for you, let's say, it's not gonna be that 20-year career that everyone is dreaming about. That shit doesn't even exist anymore. But coding is a stepping stone. As I mentioned, what I've learned from coding is how to learn. I've learned so many skill sets because of coding. I can't even thank coding enough for where I am right now. If you as a man in your 20s are scared right now, when there have never been more opportunities in the history of mankind, you're a lost cause. But if we get to the point where everything gets replaced by AI, then it is what it is. There's nothing that you can do. But till then, you need to level up. And if you have low income skills, you need to level up ASAP. And just a quick one before I end the video, I said I'm gonna tell you how to do it in 3 months and I totally forgot. So, 3 months of learning will be equal to 1,200 hours, something like that. And if you've put 4 hours a day, it's gonna take you roughly 1 year and 4 months to make it happen, okay? So I'm not talking about starting on 1st of January and getting hired on 1st of April. That's gonna be a joke, right? April's Fools. It's not gonna work like that. You need to clock 3 months worth of work, which is roughly 1,000 hours. And if you spend 4 hours a day, it's gonna take you roughly a year and a couple of months to make it happen. That, assuming that you know how to learn, you have a structured program, you are serious about it, you know how to focus, you know how to work hard, all these things are important. So 4 hours every single day, no breaks. Obviously, if you take breaks, it's gonna take longer. But hey, look, you can do it faster, you can be slower, it doesn't really matter. What is really important is to put in the time and the effort. Like, people severely underestimate how hard it is to learn something and to actually become successful. They think that if something is hard, it's broken, okay? And they think that if they jump on another opportunity, things will be easier. That's what marketing does, you know. Marketing makes you think that if you jump into, I don't know, cybersecurity or whatever, that's gonna be a walk in the park. It's not like that. Every single thing that is worth your time and can potentially give you a lot of money and opportunities and all the other perks that you're looking for is gonna be hard work, okay? There is a lot of competition everywhere, but you don't need to worry about competition, because most people, as I mentioned, they are not willing to work hard. They are willing to talk about how hard they are working, but most people are not hard workers. You know this, right? You know this. You remember when you were in school, you probably weren't the best student. I wasn't the best student because I wasn't putting in the time. But if you put in the time, if you are focused, I cannot stress this enough, if you are focused and serious about it, you can make it happen, okay? And it's all your responsibility to make it happen. It's not my responsibility, it's not your mom's, it's not the president's responsibility, it's your responsibility and your responsibility only, okay? I really want you to understand this. Like, the moment when you understand that everything that's good requires a lot of effort and time from you, that's when you'll have this stone that sits on your shoulders and presses against you, right? You remove that stone and you realize, oh shit, now I have to do the work. And when you start to do the work, then you'll start to reap the rewards. And I really want you to understand this. This is not a sales speech. This is not a, motivational speech. This is the truth. The more time you spend trying to do something, the better you'll get at it, okay? And that's when you start to realize, like, the smarter you get, that's when you realize that you don't know anything, okay? Ignorance is bliss, and most people are ignorant. And I just want to leave you with this. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.